Hello, I'm Yolanda, and this is the People's Talk. You may ask, where are the people? But the people are you. I want you to begin talking. Begin talking amongst yourselves. Begin talking with your family, and begin talking with your friends. Now, I would first like to say that I don't have a degree or anything in this area, but what I do have is life experience from what I have been through in my life. Now, the topic that I would like to discuss is on depression and mental illness. And yes, I have suffered from depression and mental illness. As a matter of fact, I've suffered from depression since I was in my early 20s, maybe even before. I have went through the suicidal battles and everything. And now I'm 45, about to be 46. And I can honestly say right now that my mind is totally renewed with the thanks of God. But I just want to get on the subject of, I believe mental illness is not embraced. People tend to think that when you say someone has a mental illness, they tend to go on and say it's crazy, or that person is crazy, or if it's a child with a mental illness, oh, that child needs a whooping because they're just not acting right. And that's not true all the time. Sometimes something is going on, whether it's depression, whether it's bipolar, whether it's schizophrenia, but something is going on with that person. Every time now that I'm looking at Facebook or I'm looking on the TV, it's someone has killed themselves or someone has killed another person. Someone has went in a building and a church or something and killed a bunch of people in a church. And it's time that if we start embracing what we're going through, embracing mental illness, and stop considering the people crazy, then maybe we can start helping and start early. You know, a lot of people may not believe in medication. You know, I have a lot of friends that are religious friends, and they believe in the power of prayer. Of course, I believe in the power of prayer. I believe in the power of healing. But what do we do in that in between time for the people who are not there yet? For the people that may not even believe in God. But even if they don't believe in God, we still have to get somewhere. They still need the help. God created doctors as well. And I believe in medication, because I believe, like I said, that there are some people that's just not there. I wish everyone was, but they're not. I feel like we embrace every other illness. We embrace heart disease. We tell our loved one, pray, but go see the doctor. We embrace diabetes. We embrace everything, but we don't embrace anything that goes on with the mind. The mind is an organ too. The mind can fail you just like any other part of your body. And some people need the help. You know, I was just reading yesterday that a young man, he decided to go in a mall and he took a baby and threw the baby off the balcony. And his reasoning behind that was because he never got a girlfriend. He was never able to talk to a girl. To me, that is a mental illness, and we need to start somewhere. There are things you can do. There are people you can call. But first, we have to start embracing it. Stop running away from the situation. Us as parents, look at your children. God has given us an intuition that we can tell something's not right. And you should be able to look at them and say, okay, this is not normal. So what do I need to do to help this along so my child can grow up and be a productive citizen? I went through that. I went by the old teachings and the old ways of thinking with my son. He needs a whooping. He's just not acting right. That's just him being him. And something transpired. He had a mental break. And then I realized, okay, he needs help. I was reading one day on Facebook that a young lady's daughter was thinking about committing suicide and killing her brother. You know, this has become a real tragic, and we have to do something. You know, they say faith without works is dead. Meaning, if you have faith in something but you're not putting the works in, what's going to happen? We're quick to say, okay, you have that 20-year-old that's living at home with you that does not want to work, and he's just there. And you're like, okay, you need to find a job. And every day you're talking to him and he's saying, I know I need a job. I know I need a job. But at the same time, he's not going to look. But then what we end up doing is saying, okay, but when you start looking for that job, then that's when God will step in and he'll help you. And job offers will just start coming because now God see you trying to do the work. Well, I'm a firm believer in mental health. Some people, like I said, are just not there yet, and we have to get them there. Some people, they'll pray, but they don't even believe what they're praying. They'll ask for help, but truthfully, they don't even believe it. So what I'm saying is, I believe in my heart, and I know there's some people that's going to disagree, but I can say, let's just agree to disagree. But I believe in my heart that if they go get the help from the doctor and God see them trying to get that help, and they embrace what's going on with them, their family members embrace what's going on with them, then that's when God will step in and try to renew their mind. I know that there are church people who will say, oh no, only thing they have to do, they just need to go and get their lives right with the Lord and pray and they'll be okay. But unless you're going through this mental illness or this depression, you will never know how it is for a person that's suffering from depression. And when I'm suffering from depression, when I go sit in a church and I'm looking at First Lady looking beautiful and Pastor praying and everyone around them just praying and praising the Lord, and they look like they have it all together. See, depressed people, we don't think like you think. We tend to look at people and it can't resonate in our minds on what we should do, because in our minds, instead of doing what you said, the average person is looking at you like, man, I feel even more depressed because their lives look like they just got it going on. So we need to start at the core and start building people up from there. I know that there are some people that believe in the power of prayer and believe in healing, and I definitely do too. But right now, I want to focus on the people that's just not there yet, and they need the help. Because I'm tired of looking at people, or I'm tired of seeing people or hearing about people going somewhere into a building or something and they're killing up people, and all we can say is, they're crazy. When if we would have noticed this before, we could have helped that person. Now, it's one thing that I would like to tell you. A person that suffers from depression or a mental illness, we're some of the biggest actresses and actors. We can go up in a place and you would think we are just perfect and we are fine. As soon as we get home, we isolate ourselves. We don't want to even communicate. When we look at people, all we can do is think about what they have and what we don't have. A depressed person can feel not only the isolation, but you want to sleep all day, sleep all night. A depressed person, sometimes they will overeat and sometimes they will undereat. So there are so many things and so many factors that you can look at. Do you know with mental illness is is one of the highest dropout rates in schools, kids with mental illness, because teachers don't understand. A lot of times what even teachers want to do, they want to sit the kids in the front of the class or whatever that they feel are the smartest or the brightest, and then they leave the other student behind. We need to just start embracing things. One thing that I have learned that has helped me is I'm embracing what I'm going through right now. I embrace the depression. I embrace my past. I embrace the difficult things that I've been through. Because once you start embracing things and just putting them out there in the forefront, you feel free. And there's a peace. And I have to say, this is the best mental state that I've been in a very long time. And I want to do another topic one day on just affirmations and how to get to a more calmer state and a peaceful mind that we all need. We tend to think that if a person has money or they're really pretty or a certain car that they drive, they don't have issues. And they do. I just want to tell you, money, how pretty you are, what you drive does not give you a peace of mind, especially if you suffer from some type of mental illness or depression. I was reading today about Deion Sanders. Everyone knows who Deion Sanders is. He plays sports. Now, I'm not a big sports person, but I believe he played like football and maybe baseball, I believe. But he was very athletic. And of course, I'm believing that he's a multimillionaire. I know he's up there. He has more money than I do. But I was reading about him, and he was basically saying how the money didn't fulfill him. He didn't even have a peace of mind. He literally wanted to commit suicide. So what he did was he literally drove off a cliff trying to commit suicide. This goes to show you this is huge. And we tend to think because a person has money and that they're driving a certain type of vehicle and they're quote unquote cute, that they don't have issues. It's really sad when we're reading something and we're reading about a celebrity or reading about someone that has a serious mental issue that killed themselves, and then the last part of the little paragraph you read was like, she was so beautiful. I don't see how she did that. When we're going to get in our minds that looks and financial success does not equate to a peaceful mind? When will that happen? I do want to tell everyone that this is my truth. I didn't attend, or I'm not attending to make anyone feel bad, make you feel like, oh, I'm pointing you out, I'm talking about you. No, this is my truth, and I just need for people to understand how a depressed person thinks or how a person with a mental illness think. And we don't think sometimes how a person that never has been through this think. And a person that's never been through this, it's kind of hard for them to understand. It's, well, why you can't do it this way, or why you can't think about it this way. Sometimes, I'm sorry to say, but sometimes people that's depressed just can't rationalize. Where everything is internal to us. Everything almost we can take to heart. If you say something, like I said, you could say something that didn't have anything to do with me, and I will turn it around and it has something to do with me. That's how I think and how depression is to me. But like I said, I pray and hope no one took offense to anything I said. I wasn't trying to point anyone out. I just have to speak my truth, and I just have to hope that my truth helps someone. Because this mental illness thing, it has to be taken care of. We have to do more. And please don't think that I'm trying to make this a racial issue. But what I find in my culture is that we don't embrace it like other cultures do. As a matter of fact, I believe that it's just really starting to come out now because there's so many young people that's committing suicide. But like I said, we would just say the person is crazy. The kid needs a whooping. And we really need to do something. We really need to do something. But one thing we can do is change the things that come out of our mouth. Because remember the power of the tongue. I just want to let you know that mental illness is a disease. It's something that it's just like having kidney disease. It's just like having heart disease. It's just another illness that you have. But it's one thing that I want you to know. We, you, me, we're not crazy. We just need that little extra help. That's all. If you know someone that is suffering from mental health, some type of depression, or they are trying to commit suicide, there are numbers that you can call. There's the Washtenaw Community Mental Health Crisis, and that number is 734-544-3050. Another number is for the Wayne County Mental Health. That number is 800-241-4949. And let's remember, let's get the word crazy out of our heads.